Hey, in this video, we're talking about the Broad Ripple neighborhood of Indianapolis.
So to give a little picture of where Broad Ripple is in the Indy metro, it's about 20 minutes north of downtown Indianapolis.
I'd say when you're in Broad Ripple, you still feel like you're kind of in the city a bit. It's kind of still got that denser, not quite like really urban feel, but like kind of like a midtown sort of a feel is how I think of it.
Yeah, I think I was surprised to learn that it was as far away from downtown as it was. Like being 20 minutes out, you still kind of feel like you're in this like more urban, dense kind of area.
A lot of the homes feel really historic in Broad Ripple. You see a lot of like smaller bungalow kinds of houses, pretty narrow streets, very walkable neighborhood is I think one of the things that people really like about Broad Ripple is it's got a cool little downtown strip kind of to it where it's really famous for kind of the nightlife, clubs and music venues there, but it's also just got a lot of great restaurants and particularly like during the day, it's a really great place for families to walk around. We saw a lot of other young families around there.
Yep.
And there's just a lot to do kind of centered around this really walkable little Broad Ripple Village.
Broad Ripple Village is right on the Monon Trail, which is really awesome. It gives you easy access if you're walking or biking to get on and off the trail. And one thing that we particularly liked on the Monon Trail was the Broad Ripple ice cream station. Just phenomenal ice cream.
And it was just really fun, like walk there on the Monon Trail and there's like a lot of people around and just good atmosphere.
Yeah, the whole vibe was good.
When you're in the actual residential neighborhoods of Broad Ripple, especially South Broad Ripple is where we spent the most time, there tends to be more of a historic feel, like we mentioned, a lot of smaller bungalow type houses, fairly small lots for the most part, but some variety too to the different styles of houses. But I would say it felt mostly like it was probably built in like the 1920s to 1940s or so, something like that.
Yeah, the houses are, at least where we were, the houses are pretty close together. Like getting in and out of the driveway was a bit of an adventure sometimes.
Yeah. Had like a couple of neat parks.
Yeah, there was a park right down the street from us, had like a splash pad and had like a playground with some swings and
Pickleball courts.
I think just like a pig. I think there was also just like a big green. Probably not even worth saying, but there was a giant green space. Apparently, I can't say that.
As you go south from Broad Ripple, you start to get into like the Meridian Kessler neighborhood, which starts to feel even more historic and more like stately kinds of homes, I would feel.
Yeah, a lot bigger, I think, than the area we were in.
Yeah, bigger homes and like a lot of like old brick and felt very classic, like tree-lined streets for the most part. And that was a pretty cool area too, but a little bit more expensive, I think.
Yeah.
We really liked visiting Broad Ripple. I think one thing we're learning as we go through this whole process is that we tend to find kind of some amount of charm in these more historic kinds of areas, especially for me, I think, but that I think particularly for you, they start to feel a little bit too dense and like small yards and that kind of thing that makes them hard to find like just the right kind of actual house that you'd want to live in and stuff like that, and feels a little bit more busy maybe than feels ideal, but we're still feeling that out exactly what's going to be the right balance for us. But I think Broad Ripple overall, would you say, felt a little too dense for what you're hoping for?
I think for my personal taste, it was, but I still really liked the area. It was a great spot to stay and to visit and stuff, and I would highly recommend it for someone who likes that type of thing.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for like a really walkable neighborhood, this is a really good spot with a lot of young families that I think has a lot to offer.